So lucky that you're not pretty because it's so hard. That was probably one of the hardest things that I had to hear growing up. Like most of the teens that were in the film Fed Up, I was actually overweight. Growing up, I was larger than all my friends and I hated going to gym because there I was always teased by all my classmates about how my body would jiggle when I would run. I tried a lot of things to lose weight, but they all kind of went down the drain when I would get to school. Fact, by 2006, 80% of all high schools have private contracts with soda companies. And by 2012, more than 50% of those high schools were starting to sell fast food. So it was commonplace for me and my friends to eat things like Papa John's, slushies, things from Coke or Frito-Lay brand. All of these things seem way more appealing than any of the processed foods that we had the chance to get. But what's the big deal with kids eating pizza and slushies for lunch? Well, the issue is that becomes a part of their daily diet. In 2002, the World Health Organization released the TRS 916 that stated sugar is a major part, if not the sole cause, of obesity and chronic diseases. And scientists suggest that our daily diet should only include 10% of sugar, and that includes added sugars. So when we eat processed foods and starches and we digest them, they're almost all instantly turned into sugar, which is then turned into fat. This is different than foods that have natural sugars like fruits and vegetables. Because those have natural fiber, they're digested slower. So that actually helps balance out the negative effects that a sugar rush would have on your body. But what are those effects? Well, fructose, the sweet part of sugar, can only be broken down by the liver. When the liver is overwhelmed with sugar, the pancreas then steps in to help and produce insulin. Many of the processed foods and snacks that we consume at school and at home have sugar substitutes like high fructose corn syrup, for instance. These sugar substitutes can trigger a hormone response that spikes your insulin levels. Insulin turns the sugar into fat. That's its job. But spiked insulin levels do cause several problems. One being it blocks the brain signal that tells you, hey, you're full. So instead, your body thinks that it's starving. As a result, you get hungry and you want to eat more. Another cause is you begin to feel weak and you lack any motivation to move around. All of this is a result of eating the wrong foods. But growing up, we were always told if you're overweight, that means you're lazy. That lack of motivation is actually a symptom of our diets, not a cause. An interesting thing that was discovered by Dr. Jimmy Bell, a neuroimager in London, is that people can be called TOFI, which is thin on the inside thin on the outside, fat on the inside. 30% of Americans are physically obese. However, 40% of non-obese people actually share the same metabolic dysfunction as those that are physically obese. So, at present, more than 60% of Americans are ill. The scariest part is many don't even know it, and the government has made efforts to reduce the consumptions of sugars over the last couple of years, but the food companies that back the sale of sugar have proven to be too strong to actually allow any of those regulations to pass. So they're arguing that those go against our personal freedoms, and it's up to us to reduce the amount of sugar that we consume. All calories from foods aren't digested the same. So by cutting out added calories from our diets and focusing on fresh foods and natural sugars, we can help end the obesity epidemic.